This is Mr. Huff, and I want to walk you through a tutorial of setting up a spreadsheet that will calculate complex formulas for you. I'm going to do one where it's a simple calculation and one where I break it up into steps to reduce the chance of error. So the first one we're going to look at is going to be this temperature formula. It is 15.04 minus 0.00649, and we're going to multiply that times the h. So it's a little cluttered here because I do have the cancellation to show that your final or your number here is a altitude. So let's take a look at this. First thing you're going to do is open up a spreadsheet. This is a Google Sheet. Put it in your engineering folder. Name it anything you want. Put your name right here. So if your name's Lady Gaga, put it right there. If it's not, put your own name. So in that formula, what we're going to do is we're going to start with a height. And that's going to be measured in meters. And then I'm going to end up with a temperature in degrees Celsius. So I'm adding in those units there. I like to color code my cells. So I'm going to say if I put something in it, it's yellow. And if it's an answer, let's use like a light green. Okay? So let's think about what our altitude might be. Let's start with 1,000 meters. All right, so we are going to go over here, and now we're going to use the cell reference. Notice that this yellow box, its address is column A, row 4. So if we use A4, it's going to be like putting in 1,000. If I change this, then that reference will change. I'll show you what I mean in just a second. So let's put our formula in here. We start formulas with an equal. And then we're going to put 15.04. We're going to subtract, open a parenthesis to force the order of operations, 0.00649. And we're going to multiply that times our height, which is in this box. So I just click it, and it puts it in A4. You could also just type A4. It's a lot easier just to click. All right? So when I've done that, it says that my temperature is going to be 8.5 degrees Celsius. All right, so let's go to 7,000. So as I change this, you can see that the answer changes over here. And let's go to the very top, 11,000. So if I put 11,000 in, that's as far as it goes. Next level, if we want to make sure we're only putting in valid values, we are going to choose Format, Conditional Formatting. And if A4 is greater than, so I'm going to go choose this greater than over here, and then I'm going to put in the value 11,001, okay? So if it's greater than 11,001, we are going to, instead of default, I'm going to click that and choose red. I want that to change red if I put a value in that's greater than 11,000. So if I put 12,000 here, now it changes color, and I know that I am not going to calculate this right, but if I put in 9,000, then that is a valid calculation. So that is my result, and I might make that bold so it's easy to see. What if you have feet instead of meters? So what we can do here is we could put feet, and then right here we're going to have meters, and what we're going to use is the convert function. So I'm going to put yellow here. And since this is an answer here, I'm going to paint it green. I should have scooted over. I wanted to follow through that a little better. But what we're going to do is I'm going to put 36,000 feet, which is the highest that we can go with this calculation, equals, and I'm going to put the function in convert, and then I'm going to click on A8, and I'm going to tell it from feet, and I'm going to change it to meters. So we enter it just like this. So convert feet to meters. Bam, there we go. So now if you have, this is cruising along at 12,000 feet, not 1,200, 12,000 feet, you can get the meters and then go plug that in right there, 3657, and now you can find the temperature, all right? So the next thing we're gonna do is, let's look at this calculation, the pressure. And we've got a lot of numbers here. So really what this means is we're going to add these two numbers. We're going to divide it. We're going to bring this value up by an exponent, and then we're going to multiply it times this. Because this is a complicated formula, it is possible to type it in all at once, but when it's complicated like this, I like to break it up into little pieces, so if there's a mistake, it's easy to find. So you can do either way. If you're good at using parentheses, that's awesome. If not, let's just break it into steps. So I am going to start with, what do we have to start with? We have to start with temperature. Temperature is the only variable in this formula. So here we go. I'm going to start with temperature in degrees C. That is my input, so I'm going to paint this yellow. And the first thing I'm going to do, so let's put 30. Okay, so it's 30 degrees. I have a fake number in there. The first thing I'm going to do is divide, or no, not divide. We're going to add. So we're going to put equals A12, which is the reference for that cell, plus 273.1, and that's going to be what we have in these parentheses. Now I'm going to take this value and divide it by 288.08. So we're going to do the next step. So right here we add, and then we're going to divide. Okay, so we put equals B12 right there, that number, divided by 288.08. Okay, so there is our division. Then we're going to exponent. And we are going to take this number and raise that to the 5.256 power. And then I get that number, and then I finally get my last answer by multiplying that by this final value here. So what we did is we added, we divided, we did the exponent, and now we're going to multiply, and that will be our pressure. So our final thing over here is pressure, and that's going to be in kPa. All right, so here we're going to take this number and multiply it times 101.29. Bam, and this is an answer. And so I'm going to color it green. All right. So now that we know the temperature and the pressure, we are going to do a density calculation. And this is a formula we didn't do practice on, but here it is. This is the Greek letter rho. It looks like a P, but notice it's not a P. This is P for pressure. This is rho for density. And this is going to be kilograms over cubic meters. Yeah, kilograms over cubic meters. So let me go kind of set this up. So if we look at this, we're going to add, we're going to multiply, and then we're going to divide, and then we get our answer. So we're going to add, multiply. So we're going to start with two variables, our pressure and our temperature. So we're going to put P in kPa, and we're going to put T in Celsius. Then we're going to add, then we're going to divide. We're going to multiply. And then we're going to divide for our final answer of rho, or since I can't type it in, I'm just going to write it right there. And that's going to be kilograms over cubic meters. Let's see, meters cubed. All right. So that is our density. Let me add that word in there too. All right, so we're going to start with our kPa. Let's just use these numbers from here, okay? We're going to put 30, because I know these go together. No, 132.3, let's go 4 significant figures, and then 30 degrees, and then we're going to add. So we're going to add our temperature plus 273.1, and then we're going to multiply that times 0.2869. Multiply. So we're going to take this value, cell C16, multiply that times 0.2869, and then we're going to divide by the pressure. So let's go highlight these in yellow, because that way it will remind me that I'm supposed to type there, and we're going to get an answer here. So in this case, we're going to take the pressure, which is cell A16, divided by whatever we multiplied, the denominator, and that gives us a density of 1.52. And that sounds reasonable for this problem. So densities are going to usually be like 1 point something or less. Okay. So this is a real quick way to set up the spreadsheet. How I want you to turn it in. So what you're going to do before you turn it in is you're going to click this top right, and then we're going to go to View and Show, and then Formulas, and click that. And now you'll see this. So what I want you to do then is spread these out so that you can see the formulas that you put in there, and then you're going to do File, Download, PDF, make sure I can see everything, and make sure your name is right here, and that way I can see all of your calculations. Then you're going to click on Export, and that's the PDF you will turn in. All right, let me know if there are any questions, and that's enough for now.